are you doing today?
I'm fine, Chris. How are you?
Oh, I'm well. Yeah, I'm just staring out the window at the rain at the moment.
Well, it stopped raining here in London, but it's not exactly a nice day. So I think we are a proper like a winter like weather coming up.
Definitely, it's a good day to be indoors. I think definitely.
Definitely. And I think that is a good day for us to talk about immigration. What do you think?
Every day is a good day to talk about immigration for me, Victoria.
That's a perfect answer. So let's talk about immigration. What are you dealing right now? What's the most of that you are doing right now?
Oh well, I mean, I think the top of my agenda at the moment as an immigration lawyer is, the coming end of this transition period for Brexit, and I personally I'm quite worried at the moment because I don't think the majority of UK employers are prepared for January the 1st. What do you think?
I completely agree. Yesterday, I spoke with a company that was introduced to me, and a first thing I asked them is like, you have to like they made an assessment of your employees, you know.
Hmm.
So, do you know any like how many you have that are Europeans, that are not Europeans, if they have done their pre-settlements or settlements? No. And then I just told them that the bad news. I said, well, for 1st of July next year, they will be illegal here if they don't have this settlement scheme done. And now I created a panic moment because they
Yes,
had no idea. And they said, but they're Europeans. I said, yes, but that's exactly what Brexit's about. So I
exactly. Yeah.
think you're right. The companies are absolutely not aware what they have to do. It's like starting point. Check their staff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they don't do a staff audit, how are they even going to know that there's a problem?
Well, that's just the beginning, no? Because you have
Mm,
to do the staff audit, and then you have to start planning for the future. What are you going to do in the future to hire more employees?
exactly. I, my worry is that it's going to take them, hitting a problem until they realize, where once January comes and then they want to recruit new people and suddenly they hit a dead end. I think that's going to be when a lot of companies start waking up to this. But it's a shame, really, that they can't do it earlier.
Well, you called my attention in one of our chats that only few companies have the sponsorship license. And this company that I spoke yesterday, she said, "Yeah, we have a sponsorship license." I said, "Great. Until when is due?" She checked it and actually expired in March this year.
Mm, mm.
So she does not have. She
She
doesn't
doesn't
have.
have it anymore. Yeah.
Yes, she had it once, but she didn't even know that expired.
Mm. I was looking at the figures, and the figures are quite telling actually. I went onto the government website. It says in the UK there are 3.5 million sole proprietors, 2 million trading companies, and 4,000 partnerships. Sorry, 400,000 partnerships. Out of that, 1.1 million companies are employers, um, and then you look at the Home Office website, this where they have the companies that are registered, and that's 32,000. So that's less than 3% of UK employing companies that are on this register at the moment that have a sponsor license.
Oh my God, I thought it was 5% when we spoke, so it's even worse.
It's even
And
worse. Yeah, yeah.
and I again, I don't think companies have an idea how like paperwork it is for us when they wanted to do the sponsorship license. It's not impossible, of course. It's not. So many companies have, and we know that, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of paperwork to be organized. And they come to us and they say, "I want to hire this guy, and I need a sponsorship license." And my feeling is like, "Yeah, you will, but not now." You will
Yeah,
have to wait
you're
a
not gonna
long
have this guy in
time.
your office next week. Yeah.
And they have no idea. They think that it's just like they're going to fill it up a form with us, and then that's it. They have no idea how much paperwork they will have. And also, other companies are like not applying because they are afraid of the auditing from the home office.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's not just to apply for the license. You've got to make sure you have all the HR procedures in place, and the Home Office will come and check that. Maybe not necessarily when you apply for the license, but at some point, um, once you have the license, potentially, you can get a knock on your company door, 9 a.m. in the morning. There's somebody from the Home Office who wants to go through your records, so you have to be ready for it.
Yes, they can come and check in the same way. HMRC can do this, the same with your taxes. Because if you have the license to employ, you have to have everything organized. I had a case some years ago that was pretty shocking. The chairman of the company, so the most senior person of the company, is the one that contacted me. And this is a big company. And what happened was they went through a merger. And when they went through the merger, the person that was responsible for the license, that was the one registered with the Home Office, had left. And I think that they exchanged solicitors also. I have no idea what happened. But in the end, when he went to renew his visa as the chairman of the company, he discovered that actually their license was not even valid anymore, because there was no one with the authority in the systems with the Home Office. So everything went completely crazy because of the lack of compliance with the regulations, and took even more time to sort it out, because of course when you went already down the rule and you made some mistake like this, to fix it is much more complicated.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are thinking that it's going to be just like, maybe getting an employer's liability insurance certificate. You just put it up on your wall and you complied with it, but it's not. It's an ongoing duty to have somebody monitoring the situation and making sure you're complying every single day you're holding that license.
Well, that is something I haven't heard yet, but I'm quite sure somebody's going to tell me this, that is just insurance policy, but I haven't heard this yet. What I have heard is this. No, but there will be still a lot of Europeans that are already living here, so I will not need a license because they're going to still be available in the market. They forget that the UK has absolutely a very low unemployment rate, even though now that we are living this situation so serious with COVID, the unemployment rate is 5%, and 5% is considered still low. If we go back to economy in full force, this goes to 3%. And then that's over. This 3% are a rate that are not employable. So, and then where are you going to find your employees? You think that
it's true, yeah.
Just going to create employees? No, you not have to hire them outside the country. So you will need the license. There is absolutely no option. And the government knows that, because they increased the shortage list. Why? Because they know that there will be more people coming from abroad. But the companies haven't realized that.
No, exactly. And also, what's also very telling is the fact that they've changed a lot of the requirements for skilled worker. For example, the level of job grade has gone from a level 6 job, which was degree level job, now down to a level 3 job, which is A-level job. So that shows that they're already anticipating that they're going to have to recruit, at a much higher level from outside of the UK.
I agree. And can you believe that I still see companies, and I'm talking about companies that are mainly with employees that are from European community, still not even thinking in this auditing of the employees that I mentioned, but the employees themselves, like individuals that I've been speaking, or with some other kind of issues, some come to us with family cases, and then I decide to ask, oh, have you done your settlement? Huh? What is that?
Just as a side issue, and suddenly it comes up, yeah.
And it's shocking to me to see some people that are with European passports living here sometimes for 10 years, and they think that they're fine. Well, I live here 10 years. Who's going to remove me from here? I said, well, the same one that removes any other person from any other part of the world that is illegal in the UK, the Home Office.
Definitely. I don't think people are really understanding the drastic effect of Brexit.
They are not, because I think they are not this kind, or I would say this population of Europeans never lived under immigration control. So they don't
Yeah.
know what is that. I would say the Europeans that arrived here in the 70s, they had to do something in that time. So they have a little bit more idea what it is. But these generations that arrived from the 80s to now, they just got the passport, enter here, and nothing happened. Like, it's just like, I am from this country, no problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so they don't know what it is to live under immigration control. And I think this is what is the difference from what they're going to see from next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a big shock to their system. Yeah.
Yes.
And
And
I
I,
think I think from an employer's view as well, they've had it easy. They've had the whole European market to recruit from without any paperwork needed whatsoever. And suddenly, we're restricted. We're going to be so restrictive in the UK now.
yes, I agree with you.
Mm.
I see like companies that are start like struggling with their thoughts on how I'm going to hire people in this area or this area when my whole staff comes from this country or this country. And unfortunately, it's too late to think that now you have to act, not only think. You have to start acting urgently to make sure
Definitely, yeah.
that you are fine for next year. How
And
long
and
have
you,
you how long
oh,
have you been like taking your applications for sponsorship license? Have they
um,
been fast?
they haven't been that fast. No, we're looking at about between 4 to 8 weeks for them
The
to be
same
processed.
with
I
me.
haven't had, yeah. So when you
Unfortunately,
consider there's only 6 weeks left of this year, then that becomes worrying.
yeah, no, it's the same. And also we
Mm,
have Christmas and New Year that always the home office close their doors between
yeah.
19, 20. They are not closing the doors this year because the doors are not even open. Everybody's working from home, but we don't know what they're going to do. We don't know how much they're going to have of the workforce doing any kind of work between Christmas and New Year, because of course, if they decide no, we are not going to do any kind of work, the application is going to be just sitting there and waiting.
Plus, if companies start becoming aware, you can imagine if there's a sudden rush of applications as
Yeah.
well. So the volume is going to go up, I imagine.
And our Christmas is over, you know that.
Yes.
I'm not planning to take any time off this year until June, probably, because I don't really see that we're gonna have we're gonna not be in the position of taking time off. We have so many people like in desperation now because they are arriving really now from Europe and have
Yeah,
to do the quarantine and then have to organize themselves to apply. So I think we are not going to be lucky enough to have some time off.
definitely. Yeah, but I mean, if there's work to do, there's work to do. You don't find lawyers complaining about that, really, do you?
No, and I know, and also I see people rushing to organize themselves to get married because of the rule that are regarding being a family member before 31st of December. So I
Yeah,
see people rushing to get married, but unfortunately, register offices were closed during the first lockdown. Now they are opened, but of course they are overloaded of work.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I think it's already probably too late now.
well, I have a client that booked
Mm.
a marriage on the 24th of
Oh
December.
wow, they're very
Yes.
lucky. Yes.
Well, and I told her they are probably sure
Mm.
they're going to be opened because it's one day before Christmas, and then after Christmas until New Year, we don't know they're going to do. But 24th, I'm quite sure they're going to be open. So again, people are living for last minute to organize themselves, companies and individuals, and this is very worrying.
It is, yeah. The funny thing is, I was talking to a HR director of a company just a week ago, and we were having this exact conversation. And what she said to me, she said, "Am I even allowed to ask my European nationals for their passports or for proof of their immigration status?" And this shows the mentality, because European nationals, when it was just accepted that they could work here, and suddenly people are having to change the way they look at these things. So for her, she didn't even know if it was legal for her to ask these questions.
Oh my God. It is so legal that you need to have the copy of the passport in your
Exactly,
record.
yeah. And this was a major company, and they haven't done this for their staff yet.
Yeah, the company I spoke yesterday had 360 employees. So it is a huge number of people. I asked her if she knew, is a HR director also, how many would be Europeans versus non-Europeans. And she thinks that is at least 50%. So if it is 50%, she has almost like 200 people to be checking in the next 6 weeks, as you said.
Exactly, yeah. And I think really, we need to get the message out there to anybody who's a HR director or a director of a company or anybody who employs people, really, because you're looking to the future as well. Even if you don't have any European employees or worldwide employees, if you're an employer, you never know what you're going to need next year.
Definitely. And this message also goes to other lawyers that work with us or not, accountants, anyone that work with companies that can raise awareness. Because
yes, definitely,
as some companies are not aware, I think it's our duty as service providers to make them aware their duties or make them aware that they will face difficulty next year. So they need to get information to check their staff and to be prepared.
And it's not just a logistical thing as well. I mean, what we always have to remember in the back of our minds is if somebody does inadvertently become illegal, then the fines for illegal working are £20,000 per worker.
Plus a criminal record that goes to the director.
Yeah. So then you won't be able to get a sponsor license as well.
Yeah, well, all these are very painful. The money, the criminal record, and the lack of ability to get a sponsorship license to your company. And all this can be avoided. But definitely, of course, the company has to act and and all of them have to do it. The sooner, the better.
Yeah. And the other thing, a lot of people that I've spoken to, for example, sole traders, partnerships, they don't realize that they can also, you don't need to be a limited company to apply for a sponsor license. Yeah? As long as you're an employer, you can apply for a sponsor license.
Definitely. Yeah, I do agree that some people that are sole traders, they don't understand that they can employ also, even though you're a sole trader. You only need to have all the proper requirements like insurance, etc. It's not because you're a sole trader you cannot employ. You can, but you need to have all the paperwork correct.
Definitely, yeah.
So I think the message is that it's for people to understand that if you employ anyone, you need to be aware what are the risks and what you need to do to avoid them from next year onwards, in the sense of if your employees are Europeans, or if you want, or if you will need, of course, to have the sponsorship license for new employees that you're going to have.
Yeah. I mean, I think, if you're a small to medium, large employer, really, you should be looking at this, getting this license as a matter of course.
Definitely. And the license are valid for 4 years. So it's not something that you're going to get and then in 6 months runs out, or 1 year. It's valid for 4 years. It's a long period of time. And if you don't use in the first months, definitely, eventually, you're going to need it for sure.
Definitely, yeah. And rather than applying at the last minute when you've got a candidate already waiting, it's better to have it ready.
Waiting and can go to somebody else, because if you have to make it wait for so long, it might go to somebody else.
Yeah, that's definitely happened before, yeah.
Definitely. So I think that our first chat is very interesting, and I think companies can understand where we want to go with this conversation, or the message we want to pass. And I would like to invite everybody to keep watching our chats. We will be here weekly with chats for you guys to give information about immigration. And if you have any subject you want us to bring here, we will be more than pleased to be discussing online.
Definitely, yes, guys. I think that immigration law is one of the fastest changing areas of law. So there's always plenty to talk about. So and myself and Vitoria, we're very good at talking.
Well, we still have the 500 pages of the new legislation that I started reading, but it's 500 pages. So it is
Exactly.
huge.
Yeah.
When we finish, until we finish, we're going to have a lot of subjects to be talking here.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah. I mean, my eyes are getting tired just reading. Changes.
Definitely. So I hope we see each other again in the next week. I hope I see you guys that are watching us in the next week. And please send us any suggestions that what would you like us to be discussing here in the case of immigration rules. This is what we are experts, and we are here to give any information and support you guys in this area of law. See you soon.
Yes, definitely. Thanks
And
for
bye
joining,
bye.
guys. Bye.